All right, guys, we just finished up training here at Iowa Martial Arts in Des Moines, Iowa. Brand new location. Place looks awesome. Got in here, got some training with the champ. So we're going to catch up with him ahead of next weekend's Pro All-Star game here in Des Moines. You are defending your title in an 8-man, 145-pound bracket, some of the best 145-pounders in the Midwest. Talk to me a little bit about the opportunity that you have next weekend, what you're looking forward to, and maybe an opponent that you're specifically looking forward to facing off against.
Yeah, so first off, I just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to compete again, obviously defending my championship. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to competing with all these very talented athletes. I know it's going to be a very tough competition compared to the last few. Really looking forward to competing against Timmy Carpenter. I know me and him have never gotten to roll before, and we're both really deep in the leg lock game, so I think it'll be a very interesting match between the two of us. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the whole entire competition, rolling with everybody. I know they all have, they're all very skilled.
So I'm going to throw some stats out here at you. 2021, Colby Heller, 2-7 overall record, 0 trips to the podium. 2022, Colby Heller, 13-4 overall record, 4 trips to the podium, 2 submission victories at the Summer Showdown to become the Who's Next Pro 145-pound champion. Talk to me a little bit about the changes that were made from 2021 to 2022 and what and how you were able to make such drastic improvements to become not only the champion but the most improved grappler at Subspectrum.
Yeah, well, first off, I can't thank my team enough for giving me all the training, all the live sessions, and all of the technique that we go over. Just keeping my butt in the gym, getting 6 days a week, sometimes 2 times a day when I have the chances, so just really sticking to training every single day, getting a lot of live in, rolling with, some of the best people we have, just getting a lot of experience, a lot of training in, so.
And were there any specific changes that you made in your mentality, your technique, your training? Was there anything drastic that changed from the last 2 years that you think could be responsible for that very, very contrasting type of results that you were able to experience?
I think the biggest thing is really we've been focusing on doing more like live scenario-based stuff here at IMA, and I think that's kind of played a big part into the changes that have been made in my competition. Doing a lot more live scenarios. We've been actually just being more consistent in general. Really, I've been coming to the gym a lot more than normal. Kind of had a little break up there, starting a new job and stuff. It was a little rough at first, but now that we're back into it, I'm grinding harder than ever, and I'm ready to defend my belt.
Absolutely. And did you notice any change in confidence between the 2 years, or even just since you won the title back in August? Confidence in your grappling, confidence in specific techniques, confidence in your ability to beat people who maybe other people didn't think that you would be able to?
Yeah, so going into that the last event that we had, made it to the finals with Dante, and I had never felt more confident competing in a submission tournament ever in my life. Going against him was one of the biggest challenges I've ever faced, and I overcame that. Confidence grew a lot there, and I really have been focusing on working leg locks a lot lately. That's really kind of been my main focus, is leg locks, inverted heel hooks, ankle locks, and so I kind of put everything towards that, really.
Yeah, and that was something we talked about a little bit before the cameras turned on. And I had asked you if you had specifically started looking into the leg locks. You said it's something that you've kind of always trained, but I've definitely noticed a huge improvement in that area of your game over the last 2 years. It was something I noticed at the Spring Open, going against some bigger opponents, some bigger guys, more experienced guys, and it looked like you were obviously very well versed in that area. So we saw 2 leg lock finishes at the Summer Showdown. So actually, we're going to talk a little bit about that finals match against Dante. I'm going to go on record saying that's probably the biggest pop we've ever heard from a crowd. Maybe a pop from his knee, but definitely the biggest pop we've ever heard from a crowd at a Subspectrum event. Talk to me a little bit about that moment, how it felt to win the title there in Des Moines in front of your home crowd, and just to be enveloped in that environment where you had so many people just losing their minds in the moment.
Yeah, if you watch the video, you'd know that it was one of the most, it was probably one of the biggest achievements I've ever had. So besides receiving my brown belt, more things to come in the future.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it was one of the biggest achievements I've ever had. Beating Dante was not something I envisioned myself doing, and obviously that's not the right mentality when going into something that big. But I knew he was a wrestler. I knew I had to take a different approach, and so obviously working leg locks is really good against wrestlers. Once he threw my head to the ground, I pretty much just pretended it didn't happen. Everybody was like, well, did you even feel it when he threw you to the ground? And I was like, yeah, I felt it. I felt it for the next several weeks. But in the moment when everything was happening, I really just wanted to win. And when I did, the crowd pop, like you said. The first thing I noticed was actually Kalen. I looked over at his face, and he was actually really excited about that.
In the background, he was losing his mind. Yeah, him.
Super excited.
There's some pretty good. Ryan's got some photos, some stills of the crowd behind, people with their hands on their head, losing it, man. So yeah, that was an awesome, really cool moment. Not only for the event, obviously for you, but to be able to crown our first pro champion from Des Moines. That's something we've never been able to do. We did it twice in one night. You did it first, then we had Derek later on the night. So. You know, I'd be lying if I said that wasn't something that excited me too in the moment. You know, see that underdog, you know, somebody who was probably the 3 or 4 seed going into that bracket, and to come out on top was a really cool moment for you and for the promotion. Kind of specifically about that throw Dante hit at the very beginning. You know, you got get dumped on your head. Is there even anything that went through your mind in that moment, or was it just immediately looking for the next thing that you could attack?
Yeah, I was trying to just stay one step ahead. As soon as I felt that pressure release, he basically just let go of all of his pushing forward weight, and I kind of knew I was going to get thrown. And at that moment, it was almost like slow motion. I felt myself reaching for the legs, and I just dug both my legs inside for the 411 position or the saddle position, and I went as fast as I could, and I grabbed the leg, hipped in, and yeah, that was all she wrote. So.
That was awesome, man. Yeah. So you talk about how that's one of your biggest accomplishments. Before that moment, what were some of your other accomplishments that you were really proud about? You had mentioned getting your brown belt. Are there any other competition moments, or even just training, or lifestyle things related to jiu-jitsu that you're proud of?
Yeah, really, there hasn't been much going on besides like all the Naga competitions like we used to do a long time ago. Those are some of the bigger things that we've done. But yeah, getting my brown belt was probably one of the bigger excitements that's happened recently. So
nice, man. And so talk to me a little bit. You're a brown belt, obviously. How long have you been training? How old were you when you started? Just give me a little bit of background information on you and your origin story in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. So yeah, we first started off in our garage, actually at our house. I was 11 years old, and yeah, we started rolling around with some of the other guys that we had in the gym. We knew very little about jiu-jitsu. We had basically my teammates were mostly just wrestlers, kind of almost catch wrestling in a way. And yeah, everything just started to build up from the ground up. I started when I was 11 years old back in 2010. Wait, no, 2011, somewhere around that area. Yeah, and it just started building up from there. So training, obviously as I got older, training more times a week, and yeah. So that's kind of where it all started at. And started going 5 days a week, 2 times a day sometimes before I got this new job, and just putting in the work. That's basically it.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about your affiliation. You guys are affiliated under Tom DeBlas through John Duvall. Was there any changes in the curriculum or like anything that changed in your training when you guys went under Tom DeBlas that you feel like has impacted your game or impacted your set of techniques or your arsenal?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when we got affiliated under Tom DeBlas, I really started focusing on learning some of the things that he does. I was even watching YouTube videos on top of putting in all that time at the gym. So I feel like just watching his videos and learning the stuff that even John would post online, using that stuff and training that here at the gym helps us a lot. We go to a lot of John's seminars. He learned stuff from Tom DeBlas. So kind of just bringing everything down the line, and I feel like it's helped our game a lot here at IMA.
Yeah, and aside from like that curriculum stuff, and you said the videos that John put up, is there somewhere else or anywhere else that you're pulling information from or studying up to make sure that you guys are always at the cutting edge of technique here at Iowa Martial Arts?
Yeah, we're mostly learning from our seminars that we go to with Professor John, and they just actually went out to Tom DeBlas. They actually went out to New Jersey to learn some stuff from him as well. But yeah, on top of that, just we stay focused on just looking stuff up and just basically get to the best details of every move that we can get. So.
Yeah, absolutely. That's super, super important. It's something that I've noticed in the Des Moines area. There's some gyms that are getting left behind because they're not studying the most recent information, and that was something I noticed of you throughout the last year. Was obviously you're paying attention to the high level stuff, the meta, the super high percentage stuff that's working at the highest levels right now, and I see you employing those techniques. So that's why I was curious if maybe your affiliation with DeBlas, or if there was any extra studying that you'd been doing that had led to that knowledge gain.
Yeah, mostly just me and my dad actually just just going in and learning leg locks. It all started when he went to a Sean Applegate seminar, and him and my brother actually went and learned some leg locks there. He wasn't really into it. My brother Zach wasn't really into it at first, so we kind of just started to learn leg locks together, and it grew from there. And now that we know it's kind of some of the more, more applicable stuff in the higher levels, we kind of really started putting all of our focus into leg locks, and it's obviously worked out pretty well. So
yeah. And you mentioned your dad. He's the head coach here at Iowa Martial Arts. Has he always been your coach in combat sports? And,
yep.
And if so, talk to me a little bit about the relationship that you two have through combat sports and just in general. Yeah,
so he's always been my coach since day one. Him and he's always had like another coach on the side. But yeah, he's always been my coach since day one. He's been by me since day one. So.
Yeah, and I could tell the two of you had a very special moment there. After you won the title there at Subspectrum, like to see father and son celebrating together. Obviously, it meant a lot to you. Obviously, it meant a lot to him and your brother, who was also there mat side with you. If you have anything else to add to what that moment meant, maybe being able to share that with your brother and your dad there on stage, and what it might have meant to you guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it meant the world to us. They could. As soon as he tapped, I walked over and I was super excited. I raised my hands. I started walking around the mats, and we all were screaming at each other. So yeah, it really meant a lot to us. We were all super excited about that moment. He was really happy because I was happy. He knew I could do it. He always has faith in me. So it's nice to have.
That's cool. That's cool, man. Speaking of you walking around, I saw. I mean, there was a little Vince McMahon swag to it.
Conor McGregor walk.
Did you practice that, or did that just come out in the moment?
No, that just came out in the moment. I never practiced that. It was almost like the Conor McGregor. That's what everybody called it, the Conor McGregor walk. So
yeah. Yeah, there's that really great photo that Brian caught of you. It's just right there.
Chest
it's like,
puffed out.
Yeah, and I always lay that one when I play it over your walkout song. What's it say? I could be the King Kong banging on my chest. Like that's the picture that lines up perfectly with that little line there in the song. So
that came out with excitement.
Yeah. Before we get out of here, just talk to me a little bit about the classes you offer here at Iowa Martial Arts, maybe just who the instructors are, just any reason why somebody looking for a place to train martial arts in the Des Moines area would want to choose Iowa Martial Arts.
Yeah, I mean, to start off, we're open 7 days a week, We do jiu-jitsu 6 times a week for adults. I mean, we have kids classes 4 times a week. We offer a lot of classes for people to come in, a lot of range of classes, range of ages, range of belts, sizes, Yeah, so Zach, my brother, the head coach Charles, my dad, and myself, we all kind of teach jiu-jitsu to the kids and the adults here. So we got a really good personnel here for teaching jiu-jitsu to adults and kids. And they both do, Zach and my dad both do the kickboxing classes here. So we got a really good range of teaching and classes here. So
awesome. Awesome, man. Well, yeah, I think we can probably go ahead and wrap this up. Just want to say thank you for letting us come in here.
Yeah,
obviously, we'll put a bunch of cameras in you guys' faces and take some photos and videos of you guys training. Thanks for sitting down and doing this interview with me. I really appreciate it. Good luck next weekend, man. I'm really looking forward to that bracket. Just that whole card is gonna be really exciting for me as a promoter, but also as a fan of the sport. I just seen all of these people in the same area that are really super high level coming together. Like, we're not really polling a lot of people from elsewhere. It's a lot of people from Iowa, so it's really cool to see the level of jiu-jitsu in Iowa rising, and I appreciate you for being a part of that, man.
Yeah, thank you for taking your time.
Of course.